Okay, we have to say why you should use an electromagnet instead of a permanent magnet. Well, the great thing about electromagnets is you can switch them off. You can turn the magnetism on and off just at the flick of a switch. But a permanent magnet is exactly that, it's permanent. So that's the answer. Also, you can make an electromagnet stronger than a permanent magnet generally as well. But I think the best answer is to say that you can switch off and on an electromagnet. Okay, now this bit. We have to describe how you can build and test the strength of an electromagnet using this kit. No problem. So this is a mini essay question, 6 marks, and you've got to describe how you build an electromagnet. You've got to say how you'd vary the strength and how you would test the strength. So that's 3 things. All right, so first, how would you build an electromagnet? Well, you take the iron nail, okay. Don't put it that way up, put it upside down so we can pick up the paper clips, okay. Take the iron nail, take the insulated wire and wrap it round the nail. So you try and do it like this. Okay. So I've tried to show there that you're going behind then in front of the nail, so you wrap it round and round like that. It's very important that the wire is insulated. In your real exam, if you get a similar question and they've given you some wire that is not insulated, and maybe some that is, I don't know, choose the insulated wire. The reason is, if this wire were not insulated, if it were exposed metal, it would be in direct contact with the metal of the nail. So current would just flow straight in there, straight down there, and straight out again. You need the wrapped wire to be insulated from the metal of the nail. Okay, then what you would do is take the connecting leads, because you've got to connect it to the power supply somehow, clip them on there, okay? So you've got electrical contact, and connect them up to the power supply. Okay. And plug that into the wall. Okay. And that's it. You've made an electromagnet. Now you can switch on the power supply and vary the current going through this circuit here. So therefore the current going through the coiled wire. No current flows through the nail. It's very important. Again, it's why we need insulated wire. There's no current in the nail. The current is in the wire wrapped round the nail. So you vary the current, and we won't go into this in too much detail in this question, but it creates a magnetic field in the coil which the nail is sitting in, and that turns the nail into an electromagnet. I'll do plenty of other videos on that in more detail. Anyway, so that's it. That's how you build your electromagnet. Now, we've got to say how we vary the strength of the electromagnet. Well, incidentally, you can then use this to pick up the paper clips. So you'd either drop that onto the paper clips or hold a paper clip there, whatever, and you can pick up paper clips here. You can pick up a chain of them if you want. Okay, so to vary the strength of the electromagnet, how do you vary the strength? Well, the strength of this electromagnet depends on the number of turns of the insulated wire around the nail. So 1 mark there straight away. Just say you would change the number of turns. The second thing is the current. On the controls on the power supply, you change that to increase and decrease the current through the circuit. The greater the current, the stronger the electromagnet. Okay, so that's number of turns and current. Right, how do you test the strength of the electromagnet? Well, there's a number of ways. You can set the current at a certain value and the number of turns at a certain value, and then see how many paper clips it can pick up in a chain. It won't be able to pick up an infinite number because of the strength, but it could probably, well, I don't know how many you could pick up, 4 let's say. If you tried to pick up any more, then it would fall off there, or it wouldn't be able to pick up the 5th one. Okay, so that's one way. Another way you could test the strength of the electromagnet is use this clamp. Clamp the nail bit here, so you've got the nail going down there with the coil around it, and then you could put a single paper clip here. Okay, keep that distance fixed, the distance from the paper clip to the electromagnet. Turn the power supply on, turn the current all the way down to 0, and then slowly increase the current, and see at what current the paper clip jumps onto the magnet. Another way you could do it is keep the current fixed, the number of turns fixed, and vary the height on the clamp of the nail, and measure at what different heights the nail can pick up the paper clip when you turn the power supply on. And finally, don't forget to mention that in order to test all these things, you need to repeat that a number of times and change just one thing. So for the distance one, for example, if you're varying the distance, you would vary the distance for a certain set of turns and a certain current, and measure the distance, the maximum distance possible for it to pick up the paper clip. And then you change one thing, for example, the number of turns, and then you'd repeat it and find the new maximum distance, the new number of turns, and that's how you'd be testing things, how the number of turns affects the strength. Okay, I think that'll do. There you go.